Let's go watch Dune Part 2. I'm actually really excited about this. And no, not just because Austin Butler is in it. Gosh, I am civilized. What is wrong with y'all? Everybody and their movie mama has been hyping this up. This better be freaking good, okay? Because everything so far this year has been about as appetizing as deep fried donkey balls. Let's go.
I dropped my drink all over the floor. Apparently, sitting down is difficult.
All right. Let's talk about it. So that was Dune Part 2. That was the fan first IMAX premiere. So fancy name for an early screening. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, I guess. Stars Timothée Chalamet, Austin Butler, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Stellan Skarsgård, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, Rebecca Ferguson, and a whole bunch of other people. So like I said, this was an IMAX. I don't like IMAX. I'm not a fan. The only way I'm watching IMAX is if I absolutely have to, or if a movie was filmed in IMAX. Because I'm one of those where I want to see the movie the way it was intended to be seen. So if you're shooting in IMAX, Christopher Nolan tends to shoot in IMAX, I will watch in IMAX. Other than that, I don't like IMAX. With all that said, you need to watch this in IMAX. Or a theater with a very large screen, larger than normal, with a sound system so ridiculous you can feel the bass in your butthole. Absolutely not. I cannot give you a synopsis. Don't ask me what that was about. I don't know. That's not to say the story is confusing. It's not. That's me saying this is not my genre. High sci-fi like this, high fantasy, I don't do it. I never know what's going on. When it comes to movies such as these, I'm a whole Easter egg, okay? Just lost. I'm trying to come up with a word to describe what that was. I don't have a word. I don't know how to sum that up, but I will say this: the Oscar 2025 race starts right now. Sound, visual effects, production design, costume design, hairstyle and makeup, best original score. I would argue for best original score, Hans Zimmer. Best adapted screenplay, I think you could fit this in there. I think that there's a fighting chance for that there. We'll see what the rest of the year has to offer. Best director, absolutely. Cinematography, there are certain aspects of this movie I would absolutely highlight and showcase for cinematography. And if Warner Brothers wants to be audacious and take a big leap of faith, I would campaign for Best Supporting Actor. I go to the movies quite a lot, correct? And it is not unusual for me to be the only person in the theater. This was a full theater, as I expected it to be. Again, it is not unusual for me to be the only person in the theater, and let me tell you, I have never been in a movie theater so quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Silence. That was an event. That was an experience. That was cinematic excellence. My God, that was good. My stomach hurts. I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't even eat my popcorn. Now, the thing about this movie that I think is just special, and this is more personal for me, but what I find so special, this wasn't just cinematic excellence, but this movie really was a coming out party, so to speak, a debutante ball, an introduction to the future of Hollywood. You had Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Austin Butler, and Florence Pugh. That is the future of Hollywood. The filmmaking industry is entering a new era, and they are leading the way. Zendaya has come a long way from Rocky Blue. Yeah, her resume is getting thick, but this is the first time I've actually seen her on the big screen. No, I haven't seen any of the other Spider-Mans, but this is the first time I've seen her on the big screen. And I don't know what to say. This was her movie, in a way. Like, this was her vehicle. She was given Paul Atreides, Timothy Chalamet, is leading. This is, he's driving this vehicle, but they worked so well. The chemistry they were great together. Florence Pugh doesn't really have that big of a role. She's one of the first faces we do see in the movie, and she establishes a very leading and commanding presence, even for the little bit of screen time that she does have. Now, about Austin Butler. Now, I know I said I was civilized. I was wrong. The little bit of dignity I had ran out the emergency exit as soon as he stepped on the screen. They knew what they were doing. So go back a week and some change when I saw Madam Web. What was that? Valentine's Day? And I was talking about how I didn't like the villain. I said, here's the thing. Hollywood just doesn't know what to do with villains. Hollywood can't give us a good villain to save their lives. They want to make the villain politically correct, and I don't have time for that. I said, I like my villain somewhere between, oh my God, he's awful, and I can change him. Austin Butler's Fade Rotha is a whole moral dilemma, because that fool is crazy. He's psychotic. He's a sociopath. He enjoys inflicting pain a little too much, but he's sexy. And when I say sexy, I don't mean good looking. He looks like the monster under my bed. He had no eyebrows, but he had a swagger that had me questioning my own mental sobriety. That very first shot of him, intentional. And they knew what they were doing. That was intentional. Had my jaw all on the floor. Then he stabbed somebody for fun. And I'm still looking at him like, I can change him. But all of that aside, he played the hell out of that part. Months from now, when people are talking about this movie, that's what people are going to remember, is his performance. I promise you. Play your cards right, Warner Brothers. You can get an award or two out of that performance. But that was excellent. It just doesn't quite describe it. That was a roller coaster ride of a movie. That was an event. I want to watch it again.